And we're live.
We're super happy to be back again for this last day. That's sad. It's the last
day already.
It's the last day. Fabio.
It feels like 5 days ago that we started this thing.
It feels like 1 year ago that we started this thing. No, it's been so much fun, and we're super happy to kick this off today with some very good friends of ours from Brick to showcase a couple of their products and services that they have out there for the Archviz community. And I have to say that these, coming from them, it's really for the Archviz community. And I think let's turn it over to them. Let's get this started, because I think there's a lot of people interested to see what you guys have to show us today. So hi, Attila and Marton, how are you?
Hello guys. Hello.
Hi.
Hello guys. Nice to see you again.
It's great.
It's Marton and Attila here, Attila and Marton, and we have a small crew at the back waiting for the second half of this talk.
Beautiful.
They are just chilling for now.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for just 1 second. What you guys are going to do is the first hour you're going to talk about Brick Academy, and then the second hour you're going to talk about Pulze, which I think is really cool. It's going to be nice to have both things covered in this 2 hours. So
exactly.
I would say let's get started. We'll let you guys go ahead and share your screen or do what you need to do, and we'll get started.
Okay.
Great.
So I still need to share that.
So
all right. So
I'm gonna mute our audio here, but we'll be listening in case you need anything or in case anything.
Okay. I don't mind if you ask some things. So
okay.
Not all me all the time.
Yeah, do not hesitate to ask.
Good luck and rock the stage.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be here. If we have any questions, we'll jump in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you just let us know if everybody can see the screen?
Give us a second.
All right. I hope everybody sees it. I'm just looking at the crew back there.
Right.
Okay, there's a 10 seconds delay, but basically we can start. First, we thought we'd just talk about Brick Academy. It's our baby, a very important thing for us. I think that we started a couple of years ago, and what we introduced to the world 1 year ago. You might be wondering what that is. Maybe you know, but I thought I'd say a few words about it before I just explain it in more detail. By the way, the guys gave me to wrap it up they gave me like 15 minutes at the beginning, so I will try to do it like chop very fast. So this whole thing, Brick Academy, came from the idea of self-development, self-learning. As I think everybody here in this industry, or almost everybody who's been doing it for a longer time, learned everything. We've learned everything on our own. So it was a self-development all the way. And after learning it all, almost all, you can never learn it all, but after learning almost all, we started sharing knowledge with our friends, with people who wanted to work with us, or who just asked us to teach them. So it was a great experience for us that we could teach people, people who had almost zero technical knowledge, or even people who just had a good eye but had zero artistic or technical knowledge. And it was a great experience for us that they could learn it very fast. It didn't take them so long as it took for us. For me personally, at the very beginning, it took years to learn the most simple things that people nowadays, because of internet and cool things like Brick Academy, they can learn it in a couple of months or even just weeks, because sharing knowledge is crazy fast these days. So the whole thing started like this. There was another thing behind it, is that if you run a studio with more artists, you might know that it's really hard to find those artists, the great talents with a good eye, who are a good match for your workflow, for your style, and who are willing to come to work in your office in your country. So it was a real challenge for us as well, and we struggled a lot. I would say it's how to put it, maybe it's easier to find the true love on Tinder than finding the best perfect artist for your studio, who has the great eye and all those things I mentioned. But we didn't give up. What can you do in these cases? Either you just continue doing this CG Tinder and like portfolios or reject portfolios, or you just really do something about it. So we did something about it. Let me flip this slide. So we wanted to keep this constant growth, and yeah, on this slide you can see capacity, recruitment, and strategy. That was our basically what I summarized so far. Is that was our strategy to grow our capacity, keep up our recruitment, and to build our own talent pool ourselves. These are just a few images of the beginnings. I will just flip them through. Okay, and here's an image of the very first sessions at the Brick Academy. Yeah, it doesn't want to go. And it's kind of successful. That's a recent photo of our studio. That's how Brick looks like nowadays. We have 45 artists, and plus the back office, we are almost 70. And our goal is to grow even more, but at least to keep this artist pool and maintain our capacity. Yeah, so you might be wondering like what this is and how we do it. Jason, Fabio, are you still there?
Yeah, they're just muted as far as I remember.
Come back from the cafeteria. All right. So you might be wondering like how we do it and what this is all about. But basically the best question here is why we are doing things, how we are doing it. We want to share knowledge, kind of a knowledge that is future-proof. And as you can see it on this slide, are we giving away any merch? Who who can recognize the original painting?
Originally not planned, but doesn't plan, but we can send some additional.
Give away some thumbs up who can recognize the original painting.
Yeah, write it into the comments.
All right, so we want to share knowledge and give knowledge to all the people who are joining Brick Academy that is future-proof. And what do we mean by that? We are not focusing on technical knowledge, and we don't want to teach people some kind of a knowledge that is maybe in 2 years just gone. We don't want to just teach like how to set up V-Ray. That might change in a couple of months. I guess you know what I mean. On these Brick Academy courses, we focus on artistic knowledge. We even try to teach a bit about fine arts, classical painting, about cinematography, movies, and all those visual, to build a bit of visual background and knowledge that we really think that is needed to become a good Archviz or any kind of 3D artist. So that's a very, very strong and important point and part of Brick Academy. What else is different from other courses is that we have a mentoring system that all the students have mentors who are checking their works and helping them day by day. And these mentors are basically our senior artists. So whenever we have an academic course, we take out those senior artists basically from the capacity and dedicate them only to those students. So they have their undivided attention all the way during the whole course. And not to mention, these senior artists really know what they are doing. They are doing it day by day. So they know what they are teaching. At the very beginning, basically, it wasn't worldwide. We just started small. We just looked for people with a good eye, really. So we received hundreds of portfolios from architectural students, even just from people who never made a render, just were good at drawing or photography. And we made a very, very strict and picky selection, and we picked a few students who we thought that could really become from zero to hero, basically, and it worked very, very well. Some of those students are working with us, and they became already senior artists here at Brick. So that's a real proof of the concept. Yeah, photos of them. So here's the proof. They exist. They did it, and it was very successful at the beginning. And they really started at zero. So I was really emphasizing that we didn't focus on technical knowledge, but they also learned here in their 3-4 months learning period, also how to handle Max and V-Ray and Photoshop, and how to put together an image technically, but we also gave them a strong artistic background. So after 3-4 months from zero, they did these images. At the very end, we had a big test, and these are their test works. So
yeah, what I can add on to this, that yesterday we had a conversation at the D2 Beer Garden Discord, and there is a common understanding that the technical knowledge itself is not the most important thing. And I just would like to underline the fact that as you visit D2 conference, for example, and you get inspired by brilliant artists, these academies would like to be something the same, giving inspiration, giving providing a kind of a mindset, and this feeling this mindset and understanding the way how a product can be done, it's much more important than learning something which can be learned anyway. So that's the main goal over here.
Yeah. I just really need to move on because I see the clock above my head. I could talk about these images, what they did on these courses, and we are so proud of them. But let's talk about some other details very, very fast. First, how we started. The concept was to put it to the next level. So we made a classroom here in Budapest at the Brick office, because we had a very intensive schedule. So you might be wondering, how did these guys learn it so fast in 3-4 months? We realized that it can be learned even faster in an even crazier schedule, because with our mentoring system, again, they have our undivided attention, and they are under hardcore training, at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So they can learn very fast, but they need our presence. And if they are here in the Brick office, they even see how things are going in real life, in real projects. So it had a really, really big advantage. Some shots of the room and some other images of the courses that the guys made. So maybe I just let them roll a bit. So before I jump to this part, our online courses nowadays, I just wanted to say that after the success of the first courses, we decided to introduce this to the whole world, and it was really crazy how many applications did we receive. Really a huge amount, and even from Asia, all around the world, from all locations, Vietnam, Uruguay, really all around the world, and we were super happy to see it. And at the beginning, all these guys could come here and sit in our room. Unfortunately, because of the Corona situation, we cannot put even just 10 people in a closed room, and people had difficulties traveling here because of closed borders. So we had to change it. We have to again flip the script and do it other ways. We hope we can do it again here at the Brick office soon, but now we are doing it online, and it also works. So it's all cool. We couldn't do this super intensive course that's taking 1 month online, but we could do post-production master classes, which I will talk a few words after this. And we did it on the same platform as what we are using now, and it works pretty much the same. And we still have the advantage of the mentors who are spending 8 hours a day with all the students and commenting on their work, helping them. What I forgot to mention at the first part about the classic courses is that a setup of a usual day on the academy is that we start with presentations, then there's a period where, well, when the students work on their own projects or the dedicated tasks, and at the end of every day there's a extra evaluation, and all the way the mentors are checking their work. Yeah. So online, what did we do online? We did an Archviz post-production course, not even one, but two already. And actually, I don't want to overtalk it. It's about the fundamentals of image making. So not just Photoshop, but how you put together an image. Composition, lights, focus, and of course Photoshop too. And people can work on their own personalized projects. We are also giving them the opportunity to work on projects that we give the buildings for, but they can work on their own projects too. And here are a few examples of the latest works done in our Photoshop masterclass, with all different of backgrounds, all different of knowledge. People come, we try to handle all different levels of knowledge and push people to the maximum by the end of these courses. Yeah, some works by our students. Try not to go very fast, but yeah. Okay, I was told that I have to mention this. There's a coupon code. Ta-da! For the post-production Archviz courses that we launch in September and October. These are online courses. On this D2, we figured that we make a coupon code. You can see it on the screen. I guess we'll put it in the comments as well.
Yeah.
And we give 10% of discount. So keep an eye out for that. And as a very last word, we want to push forward this thing because we see that there's a big need for all these courses. People ask us a lot of questions, and we helped a lot of people. We gave feedback for a lot of portfolios, not just the ones that we rejected, and they asked us like, hey, what can you tell me to improve it? But just from different artists, we got this request to comment and help them build their portfolio. So we thought that we will start this new branch of the academy, which is a portfolio and career consultancy. And more info coming soon. But actually, if you go to the Brick Visual homepage, you can already find this one, and you can start applying for that. I had to say that one as well. I hope people are still listening. But as time is ticking, we have to jump to the fundamentals of animation.
Yeah, our idea was that not just introducing the Brick Academy as is from above, but just give you some sneak peek how it works and what you can get in an actual course. And we have that kind of fundamentals of animation.
Yeah, I totally forgot to mention that at the first part that we have an animation course as well.
Yeah. And why is it important? Because nowadays it's more and more frequently happening that studios have to provide an animation because it's became fancy, or more and more architectural studios or developers things that, okay, I've got these beautiful images. Could you please provide some 30 minutes or 1 minute long animation as well? And this is always a challenging situation, because creating beautiful images is one thing, but creating an animation which is 1 minute long is a totally different story, a totally different game plan. And more and more studios facing with these issues, this challenge. And as far as Brick creates animations as movies from the very beginning, we have a lot of experience on that field. Therefore, it was an obvious decision to put together an animation class as well. And I just would like to introduce that one and show some details. And no, there is nothing to tell me that.
Some technical issues. Okay. All right.
So, as you can see from that the show reel, we have a lot of projects behind us, and therefore we wanted to put together a class which is focusing on a theoretical production pipeline, and it's an 8 days long class, and we put together everything which you should know, what you should know if you would like to create an animation. So here you can see the timeline and the main activities that we are doing in the class, and I'm going to introduce one by one these days and try to sum up and what's going on. So let's jump into the first day, which is the theoretical day. We picked a small project called Jackson Hole. That's Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole. That's the name of the project. It's a small luxury villa in the middle of the forest, and this is an ideal project because of the size of it and the complexity of it.
What else can you wish for?
Yeah. That's an ideal one to run through all these steps and have a complete understanding of the process. So let me show you the movie that we've delivered to the client, and let's check what is the topic right now. so that was the movie, and that's the project that we try to redo, let's say like this, in the class. Of course, it is impossible to redo it within 8 days in a high quality. So again, the goal is not to produce a final movie which looks fantastic. The goal is to having an overview and understanding of the process. And that's why we are starting with the planning and with a theoretical day. This is a revealing day for most of the attendees, because for those who are just starting create animations, the first question is always that, okay, how I move the camera, what will be the render settings, whatsoever. But there are much more important questions in the beginning of the project, because you have to deal with the client, and you have to deliver a story, a service to the client. You have to have a conversation between you and having the common understanding about the goals, because you always have to define the goals. What are the unique selling proposition? What is the unique selling proposition of the project? Which are the most important parts of it? You would like to show the nature. You would like to show the beautiful staircase. You would like to show the view from the top windows, something like this. And if you are defined these key elements, then you can define how many shots you have. And if you define how many shots you have, you can define how long the animation is, what kind of problems can pop up, and how many frames you have to render out. And in the end, you can have a bid, and you can create a time management for yourself as well, how to make the whole thing and how to keep it in a good track. So as you can see in that image, for example, it's very important to understand that the preparation and the pre-work and all of these back and forth with the client is the majority of the project, and the actual creation, the final renderings and the final moves are only the minority part of the project, and that ensures the successful outcome.
Yeah. Actually, it might sound very raw and boring, but we see that our students are very excited to hear this, because it really tells them how it's done in real life, and draws their attention to the fact that you cannot just jump into a movie bold-headed without any planning. That's reality. If you jump into a movie project without any planning, you will run out of your budget, time, and it's not gonna be a success.
Yeah. Let's say once an animatic, which is the sketchy version of your final film, once an animatic is approved, all the camera is approved, all the moods are approved, then you are almost done. You just have to finish the work and please the client with beautiful final renderings. But also you have to teach the client that they have to understand that the quality going to be perfect in the very end of the project. So this is a huge difference in the movie production. The quality of the animatics are very low and throughout the whole project, and in the end turns out the final beauty quality. So this is a tough job to deal with these circumstances. Over here you can see two examples of Google Sheets, which are informations about the different shots. I just wanted to paste it over here to underline a fact how important it is to collect data from everything, because if you have data, then you can have a much more precise bid in the next time. If you track down the render times, all of the hiccups, then you gonna have a better understanding and better measurement for the next time. So after having this theoretical day, we jump into the project, and we asked all the students to put together their animatics. So they have to wander around in the 3D space and track their and create their cameras, and they have to find their best story about the project. Again, it's important that they have to focus on the message, focus on the USP. What is your message? What would you like to and that's how they have to create. There is also a step over here, which is going to be discussed later in this presentation. We use Pulze Scene Manager to put together the different scenes, the different cameras in one 3D Studio Max file. After that, in the second day, we start immediately editing the animatic. For that, we use DaVinci Resolve because for those who just start editing, this software is brilliant. It's simple, easy to use, easy to understand, easy to learn. So it's an interesting discussion always, which software is the best, After Effects, DaVinci, Fusion, or new.
Or if it matters at all.
Yeah. All the good old Max versus Blender. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you are able to create a very nice end result, then it doesn't matter what do you use. Over here, we suggest to use DaVinci Resolve because it's very easy to deal with. And there is also a very important thing over here. You have to pick your music, and we always drive the animatic through the music. So that's the most important thing, to figure out how the 1 minute long animation works with music. And one of the most interesting day during the course is the comment day. That's the point when we act like a client, and we start to criticize the first animatics of the students. And also, it is very important that every student's gonna check a lot of examples. So imagine that if you have 12 animatics with 10 shots, it's altogether 120 shots from the same project. So in this day, you're gonna have a very interesting and very intense understanding how a camera angle can work, how an editing can be good or not so good, and how the music affects the whole message. So this is the day when everybody has an understanding and has a revealing overview of the whole project.
And it's a great experience for the students because like even us, maybe we are always sure that, okay, we did the best, we made the most out of this project, and this is the camera movement, and these are the shots that cannot be done any better for this project. And then you see 10 other variations that are also cool but totally different,
or even better. You have to put away your ego, and that's the moment when we learn from each other. That's the real sharing the idea day. So that's why we very much like that. So the thing is that once everybody is ready with the first animatic, then we focus on one specific animatic version, which can be a mixture of these. So we just pick the best one or try to implement good shots from others, and we try to settle down to a version which can be the one which is alive, let's say like that. Mm-hmm. So the rendering days starts. What does it mean? It means that we have to implement some technicals as well. So when you are ready with the animatic, you have to send out your renderings in a higher level with more details whatsoever. So we try to help and navigate everybody to get ideas, get tips and tricks how to deal with complex situations and find a catalog and have it in a more efficient way. This is an example. So for this project, we've created this image earlier. Am I right?
Yes. We had a still image assignment and guys.
And after the movie, yeah,
did this image.
So we had this image, and we wanted to implement this shot to the movie as well. Therefore, it would be nice to have all of these environment in 3D. But the question is that do we need that? If the camera just moves a little, then we can have other solutions as well, because the image is made by matte painting. Am I right?
Yeah.
So we've
partially.
Partially. So we've just used these back plates for the foreground and created this matte paint for the foreground of the image. And this matte paint can be also used in 3D Studio Max, so you do not need to simulate the snow, scatter around all the rocks and shrubs whatsoever. You just have to run this.
With a lot classic projection.
Yeah, of course there are several ways for it. Over here I just showed one which higher polygon count, but but it is important that there is another way mapping correct, but this shows that's how you can easily do matte painting on the ground. This is an example how
maybe we can check the final result here.
Yeah. Here is the raw render from that one, and here is the
final shot.
Yeah, the shot, which is it's that one actually is not the really final as far as I know, but this is a proof of concept how easily can it
just
be
the
done.
first test for this projection mapping technique.
Yeah.
So we try to show the students some little tips and tricks as we have a limited amount of time in this course. They need these. So do they need it? They need it the same way in reality, in real life projects as well. So it comes handy on the course and after that as well.
Yeah. Now the weekend comes when we render out all the animations with the render manager. We get back to this in the second part of this mini workshop. So let's jump to the next week. And on Monday, we put together everything. I mean, all the rendered, yeah. I used it for a reason, yeah.
Oh, okay. So here.
Yeah, so basically, do you hear my voice now? Okay. Just to wrap it up, we've just given an example how easily can you put texture via camera projection onto the ground. So nothing special. It's just a hint and tips and an example. What kind of tips are we providing during the courses?
On the course, yeah. We're gonna just maybe skip the video part because you guys saw it last time. You just didn't hear us speaking. So yeah, basically that's how this projection mapping is done, and we just then showed the raw render of this shot and the final version of this basically test shot. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully it's gonna be okay now.
Yeah. So in the next day, we put together everything with DaVinci Resolve. Again, it's ideal for editing and later on for color grading as well. But of course, we also use After Effects. So this is a matter of decision because it's important that After Effects is great in a way that whenever someone who is get used to the image production and Photoshop understands well what's going on in After Effects layer-wise, so you can easily use your way of thinking in After Effects as well. Therefore, we also introduced that one in the class. And we try to provide additional informations as well. So we have Anima mini class, let's say like this, workshop, and city
turbo workshop.
Yeah, turbo workshop, city traffic, and some infographics. So a little bit of tips and tricks for every major aspect of an animation creation. And after that, the final days are coming when we are dealing with the color grade. Again, DaVinci Resolve is a great tool for that, and we highly recommend because it's most of the cases it's self-explanatory. So that's why we use that one. And we finished the course, and we really hope that that every attendee got what they are coming for. So we have very good responses. So that's how it looks like. That was an example about the Brick Academy and what a course can provide and what how it looks like. So basically that's all. That's what we would like to sum up about Brick Academy. So don't hesitate to sign up for the courses. And again, D2 Brick Academy is the coupon code that you can use. And in the second part of this whole mini workshop, we swap the chairs with the guys who are sitting behind us because we also would like to introduce the Pulze and the Pulze products for you. And we have a special guest as well, Lautaro Vogel from Uniform. He was so kind to accept the invitation and joining us. And he also tells his story and their story with the Pulze Scene Manager. So thank you very much in the name of Brick Academy, and let us swap the presentation for a second.
And in the name of me, because I have to give the seats to the guys, so I will just jump out now. Yeah. See you all. Bye-bye. Actually, we can just start.
Basically, I've just shared the screen again, and we can continue as is. So it's okay. Okay. Igen?
Ide jössz a streambe, akkor látod a kérdéseket is tudsz
Most megosztottam már.
Szólok.
Jó.
Hello. Köszi.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Ooh. I guess we will start for a few minutes and then we will pass the word to Lautaro. So we'll just say hi and quickly share our screen like this, if everything goes well. Yeah, okay. So welcome everyone. Yep. Yeah, no worries. So welcome everybody. This is the second part of this awesome little workshop. I would like to quickly introduce ourselves. So Pulze is a team of 4 people. I'm Peter, and next to me is Mihály. And you saw previously Attila who was speaking. He's our Chief Development Officer, by the way. And then we have also the third developer, Zsolt, behind us listening. And just a little bit of points about Pulze, that this is a software family that was founded in 2018, and it's a formerly we were working at Brick as the R&D group, and then we just took the softwares or the internal tools that we thought that they need some further development, and then we started rethinking them and redoing them. So all of these softwares that we're going to show you today are for Archviz people by former Archviz artists, so let's say. So the first tool that I would like to show you is the Scene Manager. And let's check some really quick teaser with some music just to get this going.
I'm off the exit, draw, yeah, she give me that claim as well. I remember back when I was younger, I was happy. Nowadays feel like no one understand me. I'm good at artists, silly, I'm Bob, Bambi. Baby's yellow, text. She wanna eat me like candy. Run up the racks, track me. I'll run up the racks like an athlete. I remember.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and a few words about the Scene Manager. This was also started as an internal tool here at Brick Visual, and then we went like several versions of it until it became public to everyone else. But first it was just a UI and UX experiment, and then we thought that we would like to approach this scene management thing in 3ds Max a little differently than the others. And then we created this modular design where each and every artist, no matter if you're doing drafting, commenting, or final images, or let's say doing animation, or you're more like a technical person, each and every people can find their modules and the way they can set up this management tool. So it's flexible enough also for freelancers and also for like more enterprise users. And the good thing about it is that we can also develop like custom features for each and every person if they wish to have something like that. And beside the traditional features like having a camera resolution and lighting setup for each scene, we have some special ones that I guess we are really proud of. Like we have this light mix per setup. For now, it only works for Corona, but we are looking forward to implement it for V-Ray 5. Also, we have this really cool rule-based outputs, which I guess Lautaro will show you in a couple of minutes. We have really cool render settings, a really intuitive way and fast way to have multiple render settings per setup. Without having this, a lot of controls. And also the batch render or submission to any kind of render manager, including our very own So this year we started working with the uniform, and they were really interested in implementing our C manager. So we got a lot of input from them, and then we spent quite a lot of time to add new features inside it this year. So I'm really happy to pass the word to Lautaro, and then he will show you how and why they are using the C manager. So I guess I will just stop the share. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is okay. Let me just try and share my screen real quick. I know when we tested, just before I start, I know when we tested this before, Jason was saying that my video was a bit weird and laggy. So if it looks too weird, let me know and I just turn my camera off. Yeah, let me see if you can see my screen. While we're working on it, I just want to say really happy to be here. Thank you guys, Peter and Attila and all the team for the invite, and also Jason, Fabio, and everyone organizing V2 virtually this year. I can only imagine how stressful and how many hours you need to work to put this together. Right, so I can see that you can see my screen now. So yeah, my name is Lautaro. I am a studio lead at Uniform in Liverpool, UK. And as the guy said, we just very recently started using Pulze's Scene Manager in production fully. So they thought it would be a good idea if I could just share our experience with it so far. Yeah, so just a quick heads up of what you can expect from the presentation. It's not going to be so much of a how to use one, because obviously, the tool itself is quite simple to use, which is great. And also there are some tutorials out there that are very good. And also I'm not really like a complete pro with it. So it's going to be more about how, why we implemented it, what was our need for something like that, why we chose Pulze. I'm going to show just a case study for it. And then hopefully if we have time, I'm going to talk a little bit about, going forward, what we would like to see implemented and what we would like to see in terms of, next steps for Pulze, I guess. Little disclaimer, the guys didn't put any conditions on my presentation. They just said, give your full, honest opinion. So I'm not going to follow any script or anything for that. This is an honest opinion from our side. So before I start, I just would like to very quickly, because it's not the main point of the presentation, just to give you some context, I'm going to play two videos so that you can get a bit of an understanding about Uniform, what we do, who we are, the type of work we do. So first video I'm going to play is going to be kind of a day at Uniform, which is a fairly old video, to be honest, but since then we've grown like double the size, and there is a whole new office space as well. But hopefully it's going to give you a rough idea of what the type of work we do. Then the second one is going to be a company-wide kind of show reel, also again, so you can see some of the clients and projects we get to work on. So yeah, I guess we'll just mute ourselves to make sure it kind of. Maybe I just don't unmute. Yeah. What about now? Is it still not? Right. Let me just quickly rejoin. That should hopefully. Yeah, I am sharing computer audio. Yes. Let me just try again. Can you not hear that? Right. Give me just a sec. Technical issues. Is that still not playing? Sorry, say that again. Right. No, all of them had sound. It's the same one we tested just before. Yeah. Yeah. I joined with the share computer sound or whatever that was. Yeah. Yes. That's let me just try something. Can you hear something now? No, that's weird. Like when I tried before, when we tested it before, it was working. Right. Yeah. That's fine. No worries. Just play then. Right. Should I be singing on top of it? Okay. Yeah. That's fine. Right. So I'm gonna just play now. I'm not gonna sing, obviously, but I'm gonna just play now the second video, which is a bit of a company-wide show reel. So at Uniform, we do quite a wide variety of work. We have like a brand and design kind of side of business, which does a lot of things from like strategy, web development, film, lots of different things. We also have obviously the team where I work at, which is the architectural visualization team. So you can see probably in the video and imagine like it had like very nice sound, very nice music, and it was super interesting. Not me just talking on top of it. But you can see a bit of the variety of work we did. hopefully that gives you kind of a quick, understanding of what our clients and our work. Right, so sorry about that, by the way. You gotta love technical issues. So, that's a bit of what we do. And in terms of why we kind of started looking for a better solution, we actually, just to let you know, we did have already a scene management tool that we were using, but we felt that it wasn't quite right. We still needed to rely quite a bit on things like layers and naming things and creating like point helpers for positions of the sun and lighting, which is kind of worked, but it wasn't really ideal. It was far from ideal. So again, I'm just gonna skip the next video because I don't think it makes too much sense to play with without sound, but it's just to say that we sometimes get to working like massive, actually, let me just play it really quick. Massive, projects which involve, again, different parts of different teams, different people working on it. This is an example where we have like, illustrators, web developers, like obviously CG artists, a whole bunch of different people working on it. And as you can imagine, usual day-to-day kind of projects are super complicated, and they get super complicated immediately with different people working on them and assets that you have in the scene and everything. So you can imagine when the project is even bigger, like you cannot survive without a scene management tool. And actually, we're quite curious to know if people can just put in the comments, like if they are currently using a scene management tool, or if they are not. I'm really curious to see if they are not using it, how do they survive? Because I remember the time when I wasn't using it, and now I don't really even know how I was working without a scene manager before. So yeah, just drop a line in the comments saying if you're using or not using or planning to. Be interesting to see that. So as I said, a few of the things that we really didn't, weren't completely happy with from our previous workflow or scene management tool. It wasn't completely terrible. It was just kind of good enough. And the issue, which is very dangerous, is that people got used to it. We got used to it. And when you get used to something, it's really hard to go and look for an alternative and try and suggest changing it for something better. The UI and the whole way it worked was completely overwhelming and very intimidating. So especially if you got someone new in the team who didn't use that tool before, it was like a bit too much for the simple things we needed. The development of that tool and the communication we had with the developer wasn't like great. It wasn't as good and as direct as we have it now with the guys from Pulze. And it was missing a few key features. It's funny actually, because if you think about it, we don't really need a whole bunch of stuff at least, in the way we work, we don't really need too much stuff. We just need a few things that we need them to be simple and easy to work and work fine. That's all we need. And all of this becomes very relevant during the concept stage, or you might call it drafting stage, or initial kind of scene exploration, because that's when you get loads and loads of different options, different cameras, different lighting, scenarios that you need to make combinations from. So just to talk a little bit about why we chose Pulze and why we are using it, I'm gonna, it's pretty much 3 key points. One of them would be the simplicity of, how simple it is to use it, but also how simple the UI looks and how simple it is to get used to it. The collaboration and the kind of, back and forth we have with the developers, which is always something we look for in the software we use. And then a few key features, as I mentioned, and I'm going to talk or show even how these work in Scene Manager in a bit. But a few key features like, getting your lighting per pass automatically, like you get the sun or the HDRI or the dome or whatever it is automatically set up. You get to turn on and off layers or objects per passes, which is very handy as well. One feature that we absolutely love is the I don't really know what the official name for it, but the output auto naming kind of thing, where you just don't need to worry about, if you have 100 passes, you don't need to worry about setting the output for each one of them. And then obviously the ability of just taking kind of a snapshot from the current setup, which is great. So I'm going to use this project that we did for our friends at Foster and Partners a while ago. Now, just as a case study, really. Now the thing is that because of NDAs, and we all love NDAs, don't we? Because we just recently started using Pulze and Scene Manager, say like a month ago, probably a bit more than that. Obviously, we can't show anything that we produce using Pulze already, but it was quite an interesting exercise, just going back to this project that my colleagues James, Isaac, Antonio, Bryn, and Tony worked on, and just see, think about how we did this back then and how we would approach it nowadays with Pulze. That was quite an interesting, just quite an interesting case study. Now, as I said, behind all of those projects and final outputs you get, there is that initial stage after after talking with the clients, discussing with your creative leads or art directors as well, like roughly what's going to be the exploration in terms of mood, lighting. Maybe you set up some mood boards, and there is that stage in the project where you start exploring the scene and you start testing things, and it can quickly become really complicated and overwhelming, the amount of options you have. And at the same time, you need to make sure that we can easily go back to each one of these, because say I share one option, with my creative lead or the creative lead of the project, and he says, yeah, like maybe like that one option, but move the camera a little bit or do this with the lighting. I need to very easily go back to that setting, get all the settings and lighting set up correctly, and then just do those small tweaks. I'm just going to let this video play. This one actually doesn't have any sound, so it's not a problem. Just going to let it play and explain to you a little bit about what this is showing. So as I said, with our previous kind of tool and scene management, the whole workflow behind it was, we would just approach this project and start exploring the scene, going around it, trying to find nice viewpoints, testing different lighting options, etc., etc. But then once we found the one that we were happy with, what we would have to do was create like layers where we would need to rename accordingly, just with the same name of the camera or the shot, and then put the lighting in there, make sure that only that one was on or off, depending on the shot. Or if we were using, V-Ray sound, for example, we sometimes would just create like a point helper to keep the position, but then you would need to rename that point helper accordingly, to the shot or the camera that needs to use that sound position, which wasn't too much. It was like probably like 1 or 2 minutes. But if you have to do a lot of concepts, a lot of options, it's not great. It doesn't feel like smooth enough. And the way we are doing it now with Pulze is basically, we go there again, we just explore different aspect ratios, lighting, camera options. And once we find the option that we are happy with, there is a fetch current settings, I think it's called, the option in Pulze, that just literally captures like a snapshot of, I'm using it now here, for example, just captures a snapshot of all the settings you have, the camera, the lighting, and the aspect ratio. So the way we would do it now is explore the scene, find something we are happy with, click fetch current settings, and then just keep exploring. It's so smooth. It's just so easy to work with it. And one funny thing actually is that when I pre-recorded this video, I was saying like, oh, but actually, Pulze is only on the screen for say 5 seconds or so every now and then. But actually, that's a great thing, because that means that I don't need to spend a lot of time in that specific tool to get the results that I want. If I had to spend, like an hour explaining how you would do it, what you would need to do to do this, to take the snapshot of the scene setup, then probably, the tool wasn't good enough. So I think having to spend like minimal time on the actual tool is a great thing. It means that it's super easy to use. So let me just kind of see. So this will be, for example, say I'm happy with this camera. You see now I click on that magic wand thingy, and that captures the current setup, as I said. So obviously I only created here like 3 options. This was all real time, by the way. That's how fast we work. But say, you could create like 3, or you could spend a whole afternoon and create like loads of those options, depending on what you're after. And let me just try now and share a Mac scene. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you can see the Max window. So say after I created those options, right? I have them here, right? So you see how I can switch from one option to the other super quickly. And again, I'm just using 3, but you could be using like a lot more. So after doing this, which took almost no time, how would you then go from here to render them out, or just set an output for all of them, and so that you can share with your team or your creative lead or your art director? And that's another really cool thing. So in this case, for example, I'm just going to set up the output. I'm not going to do, in this first step, I'm not going to do anything specific per pass. I'm just going to set up the output for all of them. And if, the way I would do it here is you can select all of them, like all the options you have in here. And this is a beautiful thing about Pulze. We really like this, because as I said, if I had 100 options here, the time or the things I'm going to do would be exactly the same. So there is no extra time for extra passes. So first of all, you would just say the folder where you want to store the output of those shots. And then the output, the actual name of the file, is going to be created out of a few different options that you can choose from, which is really good. So for example, I could say, I want to create it out of the file name, which is usually the only thing we kind of get to properly name. How quickly it gets messy with cameras and things that are not properly named. But that would give me, if you can see here, the output name for each one of those automatically. So this will be camera 3, this will be 2, this will be 1. If you have 50, that will be for all 50 of them. You can do the same, obviously, with the channels or the common output, etc. And after you have that, you just literally render them all. You can batch render here, or you can use render manager or whatever solution you use to render. So that takes no time really. But now, in a second kind of stage, say you want to do things per pass, and this is another thing that we kind of struggling with our previous tool. So you want to do something per pass. So say, let me go to shot 3 here. Say for some reason I didn't want to have this element in the foreground in this specific shot. So there are a few other cool things that the scene manager does that we really like, which is like objects and layers. As I said, they work in a very similar way. So I don't want to have in that pass 3, I think it's called. Yeah, I don't want to have this object. You literally just select it here, and then it will be added to all of them, as you can see. But for this particular setup, I don't want to have that object. That's gone. So if I keep scrolling through them, you would see here in this perspective view how it goes away. Just as simple as that. And it works in a very similar way for the layer. So let me just give you a quick example. If I select this, sorry, let me just open this actually. If I have a layer selected, I can just pick it from here. And again, it would be added to all of those passes. But I only want it on, I only want these lights on for this particular pass, but I don't want it for the other two. So I just select them, say off, and again, and you can see how quickly it jumps from one setup to the other, which is something really good as well. The previous tool we had was a bit slower at that. So that's really interesting. Now, one thing I think I skipped and I didn't mention is how, what render settings am I using now? Now, again, the scene manager does it in a very, very cool way, because you can do it for all of them. Basically, what you do is you have a basic default render preset, and then you have specific settings per setup. So let's say, I don't know, I wanted to, right, my UI, my V-Ray UI or my license, something is gone for some reason. I'm doing this locally, so I don't really have that. Let me see if it will even fetch the settings. Yeah, it would fetch the settings. And let's try with the render elements. Probably the guys can show it a bit afterwards, but it works the same way as with the render elements. So I'm just going to do that. So I want to add a few options for all of the passes, really. Let's just add like back to beauty, kryptonite, whatever, just random things, right? And then you can just fetch this for all the setups. But then again, say you had a pass that you don't want to use for a specific setup, you just disable it for that one, and it stays on for the rest. The same thing you would do with the render settings, and then you would just click fetch, and it works exactly the same way. Sorry about that, not being able to show you that actually. But you can see these settings, setting up these shots. And again, if I have 10 of them, which sometimes might be the case if you are in a concept stage kind of thing, it would take like no time, right? It would be super, super quick. So I think, let me go back to my presentation. Actually, I think I have here a pre-recorded video that I can show you for the settings thingy, which I couldn't show you now. Right, so you see now I have like some basic render settings in there. But if I say in one of the shots, for some reason, I didn't want to use caustics, I can just then go and use the render settings module and fetch those settings. And then that would be only apply, as you can see now, it's going to go back on. It's going to be applied only to that pass. So it's literally super, super easy, takes no time. And it's something we quite like here with Pulze. Right. So I think that's pretty much most of it. Sorry about the issues like the sound and all the other bits. But just a few words before I finish that kind of presentation. And if people have questions or something around, obviously the guys are going to be the best people to ask to, but I'm going to be around. One thing I would say is encourage people to just go and try, the tool. And if they do try it or if they do use it, just post, your concerns, your, feature requests in the forums or via email to them, because that's the best way to just make the tool even better very quickly, because then they can get a lot of feedback from a lot of different people. I know I've been doing that a lot. I'm keeping them really busy. They are probably regretting by now giving me the access to the forum and their emails. But it's just that one thing I would really like to see in the future of Pulze is making it even more powerful, but still keeping that nice balance with a very simple to use tool, but super powerful as well. So that's pretty much it from me, guys. And hope you enjoyed it despite all the technical issues, and be around if you have any questions.
All right, thank you very much. This was truly awesome. So you said that, okay. Ja, das nem úgy megy.
Ja.
Okay, so
thank you so much for the presentation. Lautaro, that was very, very interesting stuff. And I saw in the comments that there were a lot of very good reviews for you guys, like people saying, that it's a great product and worth every penny. So that's a good thing to see as well. Let's see if there's any questions for you guys. Let's see if anybody, you guys out there, if you have any questions, please, this is the time to ask. We've got a few minutes that we can do this. And I would guess, since we have done 2 presentations now, that it can be questions about any of the either thing, Brick Academy or Pulse. So please, if you have anything you'd like to ask, go ahead right now. What happened to Lautaro? He left.
No, I'm here, guys. I just saw my video, as you said before. That was like super weird looking,
okay.
So I just turned it off. But I'm
okay,
here.
okay.
Yeah, if you wanna shoot a question.
All right, perfect. I just wanted to make sure you were still with us and didn't get like kicked out or something. Okay.
Yeah, I think the guys, Peter and they are still gonna talk about the other 2 tools. Are you guys?
So.
Oh, you guys aren't finished yet. Okay. Sorry.
No, not quite. So.
But it's still a little. We take a little break. See if anybody has any questions.
Okay, no worries.
We do have a question. For a beginner, intermediate, still learning Max, do you suggest to implement a scene manager, or is it better to have full knowledge of the traditional methods first?
That's a good question. I would say people should be familiar with doing this like totally manually, and then once they are fed up with it's in their hands, then they can just switch to R or one of any kind of these products to speed up their workflow. So.
And I have a question for Brick Academy, but if you guys are going to continue now, we can do this at the end, right at the end.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
No
So
worries.
I would say go ahead and continue, please.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's all right. Yeah. So I will just share this back.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So I'm only ugly when I'm super big screen. Got that.
Yeah, thank you. So as Lautaro said in the end, if you have any questions or concerns, or you just want to know more, then or you have some ideas, then you can post it on our forums or just write us at one of our email addresses. And I will continue on just showing another video with some fun music, and then I will talk about the future of the scene manager.
Style, put you in Chanel cause it's just perfect for your smile. Girl, I swear for you I'd run the world, I'd run the miles. The way you look at me, I think I'm going insane. It's crazy how we started out to what the love became. You need me, say my name. Don't ever hesitate. It's 2 a.m. outside, when I'm with you I feel way too hard. You won't feel the heart. You won't feel the heart.
Okay, great. So in this little video, we showed you the previous version that we released like a few weeks ago, and it has this special module with Project Lavina. So if you are interested in Project Lavina, is an awesome tool by a Chaos group. It's still in beta, but we use it in some cases at Brick also. So the scene manager has this special integration with it. So if you are curious, then go check it out. But again, what's next for the scene manager? So we constantly receive a bunch of requests, a lot of from Lautaro on the forums. So we're looking forward to implement those. But also we have our separate plan. we would like to have a so-called scene presets where people can import and export these kind of setups. So for example, if I have a cool lighting setup with render settings, LUTs, VFB settings and stuff like that, I can easily share it with my colleagues or just reuse it in some products or sorry, in some other projects. Also, we have this philosophy to have less is more in buttons and control wise, but people are constantly asking for more control. For example, they want to rotate the dome, they want to, I don't know, add some spinners to the sun module, they want to control their ISO in the camera module. So we won't do this for ourselves, because the idea is to keep the user interface simple, but then we will give you an option where you can just add in your own controls to all of these cards. So that will that's coming really soon. And also object properties per setup. Currently we only have visibility and maybe something else, but then we will fill in the rest of these gaps. And also something that we are very interested in is going into product visualization and having this special variation module where people can just really intuitively, like you see with our, you know, the base thing that we have, they can easily do hundreds and thousands of variations for a simple render with lighting, materials, textures, and stuff like that. But back to the scene presets, we have something cooking in at Brick. So currently the guys have these presets that we have in-house, and the really cool thing about them is you either can just look around and then you, let's say you want to have a night mood from this angle, you just scroll down and you have this magic hour, and then we will handle the cameras, the HDRI, the dome and everything. So the idea is to, whenever you would like something like this, you just hit a button, we will create a preset for you, and then we can reuse this in any circumstances. So that is also coming in the next update of the Scene Manager. Yeah, so let's move on, and I will let Michael tell you about the Post Manager.
Hi guys. So we are kind of running out of time, so I'm gonna wrap this up really quickly. Basically, our second product that we want to talk about is the Post Manager, which is a Photoshop plugin. And there is a small video I have prepared that kind of gonna summarize everything, and then I'm gonna try to do a little live demonstration for you. So you should hear me now. So yeah, basically the whole idea behind the Post Manager was working in After Effects with all the render elements and all the masks that you usually work with is much easier than in Photoshop regarding having new render versions like every day and then switching out every single render element and then switching out every single mask that you are using. So basically the idea was to try to recreate all this process in Photoshop, where you can like batch replace render elements, and then all the masks that you have created from those render elements should be also replaced automatically, so you don't have to go through all that hassle. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you something live, which is, I know, always a good idea, because nothing ever goes wrong in a live demonstration. So here is empty Photoshop document, and these are the panels. And what I have at first is like a first version of a render like that. And the basic render elements, and all of these are PNGs at the moment. And all the masks that I'm going to use in this presentation are going to be in this multimatte element. And just to let you know, there is a naming convention that's going to go well with this one. And it's to call every single color channel with a name. So the red is going to be the glass with a hashtag, and the stairs going to be the green, and the wall going to be the blue. And all the time you need to separate these with a hashtag, so the automatic replacement and creation can kick off. So as I said, it's a Photoshop extension, so you can get it from window extension. Easy as that. So you open it, and the first thing after you log in is what you can do is you press the create new document panel, and then it's going to ask you to browse a folder for your render elements, and then you select all those render elements that you want to import, hit OK. And then it's going to say you can choose one of the presets of how your Photoshop document is going to look like. And you can check those presets out. What is the folder structure going to be? And also these are built-in templates, but you can anytime create your own template, so you can customize it to your liking. The more exciting thing, in my opinion, is the extract layer mask option, which is going to recognize all these hashtag named multimattes and all the kind of render elements that is going to give you a black to white luminescence map, and also it's going to create those masks for you. But let's see it in action, basically. So as I said, you can do any kind of layer structure. This is what we use in Brick right now. So this ships with Post Manager. You can use this if you like. You know, it's really up to you. So basically what happened is, from this multimatte element, it created these 3 folders which have their mask applied to it automatically. And just imagine that you are working on this image, you are making this nice, and then you are going to use one of these masks, or like a lot more if you are preparing this better than I did in here. So for example, I'm going to color this wall just something to represent like red, and I'm going to do the stairs also, maybe change it up a little bit, like a nice pink one. And also I will going to do and use like a copy of my reflection element, put it into the glass to make it like a really reflective surface, like a mirror or something. And then going to like put the brightness up so it kind of matches it, but it really doesn't matter. The thing that I'm going to trying to prove is how it's going to work whenever you are going to run into the situation when the clients, for example, wants to change the camera a little bit. So then all your masks are going to be obsolete from that point. And that is what should happen. This is what happened in this case. So you open a Post Manager whenever you finish rendering your next version. And then the first thing it asks you to do is to discover the document, which means it's going to scan through your document and find every single hashtag maps and all the render elements that it knows about. So this is what we now understand that we have. And then we can browse for another folder with another render elements, which is like your second version of the render. and then importing those. And then it's going to match all those in your preview window like this. So it was going to tell you it's going to replace what elements with what new PNGs. So it knows that you have 2 different copies from the reflection, and it's going to replace both of them. It also knows that your document is now not like full HD, but a 5K document. So it's going to resize the whole documents as well. And also it's going to update the layer mask for wall, stairs, glass, and Z-depth Luma mask that is also created here. So let's see if it works and what it will do. Since this is now a 5K image, then it's going to take like a little bit more than it did previously. But I think it's still a lot faster than if any of you can do it faster than Post Manager, then we're gonna find some rewards for that. But I don't think it's possible. So it's finished, and this is what basically happened. As I told you, we have changed the camera a little bit, but all the masks have been replaced like this. So, and we have all the adjustment in those. So basically, the update is completed. Our new resolution is completed. So basically, this is the basic workflow of Post Manager. And if you create any kind of layer structure in here, then you can teach that to Post Manager. And there is a really in-depth tutorial we have in our YouTube channel if you want to dive more into that. But I'm just gonna finish this up to pass back the word to Peter. And I hope, where is this? It's in here. Like this. Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. So yeah, first of all, the next step for this is we are going to implement this into our render manager system. So whenever we render out an image, you can automatically have your Photoshop document created for you. So you hit the render at night before you go home, and the next morning a freshly baked new Photoshop file is going to wait for you in your on your computer screen. Also, this will make it possible to grab unfinished or halfly finished render elements, and you can already start working on an image before the render finishes. So imagine working on a progressive render. It's not finished yet, but you can already clearly see what's happening. You can start working on those on that image with all the render elements that you need. And once the render is finished, then you can also replace those elements. Also, any suggestion, you can write to us for the info@pulze.io if you have any suggestion about that. And as we promised, there is this D2_Pulze_40 coupon, which you can use today to have like a 40% discount in our shop to any of our annual products. So be sure to like make a snapshot or something, a screenshot, but we will show this at the end as well. And that was for me. Thank you for listening. I'm going to pass back the word to Peter.
And yeah. Awesome. So I will have like 8 minutes to finish this thing. So I will quickly show you another little teaser about the render manager. And yeah, I will jump in live and then quickly show you how does it work. So if you fell asleep, then most likely you're gonna wake up after this. And just a couple of short words about it. So this also started as an experiment. Then like years ago, our render manager replaced Backburner inside of Brick. And then we have this redefined way of managing jobs because we have this in-depth scene knowledge, requirements-based filtering. We don't have to like stay up all night just to feed the render farm and Backburner with tasks and nodes. Everything is like fully automatic. And then also one of the coolest features, I guess, is the live progress and preview. So let me just quickly jump out and let me show you this in action. So I'm gonna quickly show you the nodes and the jobs tab. So I'm not gonna bore you how to like set it up and do things like that. We have detailed tutorials regarding that. Just a quick rundown at the nodes tab. On the first one, this is your computer. You have these like basic hardware information, and also the important thing is that we have deep knowledge of which type of 3ds Maxes do you use and what type of plugins that you have installed. So currently in this meeting PC, we have like V-Ray 5, Sinai, Reaclone Forest, and that's it. And the cool thing about this is that I have a couple of nodes just for the presentation. So you can see this has a little bit more stuff on them. And the cool thing about this that since I have less plugins installed, I can compare these two guys. So let's say like comparing to this, like you see, I have a lot less. So this is really handy even for freelancers or for more like enterprise users that you can match to the version that I would need these kind of plugins just to, get aligned with the rest of the farm. So this is quite handy in a lot of cases. Also, you have these like normal monitoring things, so CPU, RAM, and C drive. There's also a little remote desktop request icon. And on the left side, you have like basic restart, shutdown, wake up, and a couple of other more specific settings. You can report errors internally, so not to us. There's a different button for that. You can also run a benchmark for Corona, V-Ray GPU, V-Ray CPU, and then use these benchmark scores to filter your requirements. And if you would like to send out a job, you see we have one running at the moment. You just need to press this new job button. You can either browse in a Max file, or you can have submit a running instance of Max. So you see I have this really simple file over here, and then our submitter is not integrated into 3ds Max. It's a totally external thing, but you still have like even more control over here. So if you just click it, a quick sanity check will run down, and then we will read out what type of Max, what is your engine, and what are the basic requirements of your file. So if Forest would be involved in this, you will see that plugin Forest and the version number of it. So there are a couple of things that you can set up. You can either render an image with single frame, tile rendering if you're familiar with it, or you can choose a distributed. You can either choose a remote master PC, or you can use your computer, actually your running Max to be a master of this job. But right now we're gonna submit a little animation, and we have two methods also here. So linear will render like normally 0, 1, 2, 3, and then counting to 10. Or we have this sparse method, which is quite nice for animations, and also for animations that in like early stage and you don't have any idea what you will see in your camera preview. Sparse is a really good thing. So it will render the first, the last, and the middle one, and then it will start to fill in the gaps. So you will quickly have after like 10 frames, you will see your entire animation in some way. So I will show you this one. Also, you can choose, like for V-Ray, you have 3 kind of outputs, the common, obviously, then you have the channels and the raw. So we can set up an output here also. Let's just name something and PNG. You can change the resolution and you can decide what should be the priority and when should it start. I want it now, and normal should be, it should be enough to give me some half of the nodes of the farm. So if you just hit create, then it will create another job. And once 2 of these PCs will finish, they will close up their running job and they will move to my. So because we have, like, this is normal priority and this is also normal priority, we will split the things to half. But you can already see that we have some really nice previews. So if I would hover over my mouse here, I can see that what this PC is doing, and it will refresh every 5 or 10 seconds. And also you have a proper remaining time, so 50 seconds. And this will add up, to the whole experience that you know what's going on with your render nodes, and you know when you're going to finish, and you can also peek in what's going on without going to the exact PC or without, logging into remote desktop and stuff like that.
We have additional 10 minutes.
Oh, really? Cool. Okay. Yeah, so you see the status, it's opening, loading. Loading means when it's loading up the file, and working is like when it starts to render. And yeah, so this is our job that we just sent out. And down here you have the list of nodes that are working on. I can also check the pending frames. So yeah, I wanted to explain the sparse. So you see we have a 0, 50, 100, and then we just start to fill in these gaps. So quickly I will get, after 3 frames, at least I will see the first, the last, and the middle one. So in a lot of cases, this is a really handy thing. You can check the max file, the folder of it. You can see the output directory. So if you would click here, then you see here are my outputs. Yeah, other than that, you have dependencies. So I can start to chain up my my jobs after each other if I wish. You can change the priority, and you can also maximize the number of nodes that you want to use. Also, there for starters, like the question is always that, can I use my own workstation just to, in the rendering? And there's this activate night mode button, which will most likely change in the next version to something more understandable. But activate night mode means that you will become a render node, but you can still monitor and control what's going on. And it also gives you this handy little thing that, let's say you're doing like emailing or you're doing like Photoshop work, and you don't want to use, you don't want to give away all your cores. So I can do something like this, that I can give away 6 cores, and then the two remaining will be perfectly fine for me to do my emailing work or stuff like that. Yeah. Um, 5 minutes. Yep, if that's okay. 3, okay. Yeah, I will speed it up. Okay. Yeah, so let me jump out and get back here. I just want to show you one more thing. Yeah, live demo and what we are working in progress. So like in the scene and a post manager, we have a lot of ideas. And then currently the render manager, it's in a heavy update, let's say. So in the end, we are focusing on like a lot of UI and UX tweaks, which will end up being more robust and more responsive in the end. And then we want to try to have this balance between freelancers and the enterprise customers, and making both of these groups happy in the end. Oh yeah, I just want to point out that we are looking forward to have a better error handling and reporting for you guys. And if it wasn't that easy, then we will have a more convenient installing and setup procedure with like auto discovery and things like that. And then since I guess rendering is pretty much done, we would like to move forward and use this technique not just for rendering. We want to have simulation, preview, and compute jobs, which are pretty cool. And the last thing, I have a really just small recording from this morning that personally I'm being involved and working on this deploy module that we are looking forward to have in the next version, which will let you just pick whatever software you would like for Archviz software or plugin that you would like to install, and then we will just take care of the rest. And with also there are a couple of like Windows utilities that I guess everybody uses, and so like your administrator can collect these and then name this group, and then you can select the PCs, and then we will deploy these one by one, and then it's I guess this will be a lifesaver for people that don't want to use like an external deployment software. So this is what we are cooking at the moment. And and I guess that's it. So if you don't forget that we have this coupon code, and then we will also post in our social channels. And also, before I say goodbye, I would like to really thank all of the supporters and people that are using our software. And yeah, shout out to Lautaro again. He said great things. And yeah, next time I hope we can see you guys in person. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for this beautiful presentation, guys. Maybe you want to put the camera?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
not the
Hold on.
our camera also.
You're gonna see us. We're here. We really are here.
Congratulations, guys. Cue the applause.
Yeah, good job. Man.
Thank you.
It was really great. We appreciate it. I would wish we could spend a few more minutes with you, but we have the next people ready to
Yeah,
go.
sure.
So thanks again for your support and for your support of the community and for the tools and the services you guys are creating. We are really impressed and very happy.
Just a few reminders to the guys watching from home, to the community. If we were to do one of these workshops once again in the future, what are the things that you would like to learn from these guys? Let us know, write a comment so that we can discuss it with them and we can try and bring you some more interesting content. We are going to start almost straight away with another workshop, but that workshop will be on another link on another video. We have left the link in the chat, so go and check it out. Guys,
put it in there again right now.
there you go. We're going to log out for now, and we will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes with the new workshop. So guys, thanks a lot for doing the workshop for us. It was amazing, great product, great great presentation, and hopefully we'll see each other in person maybe soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye.
very much.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone.
yeah.